What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to this Anfield Agenda Manchester United preview. As you can see, I'm joined by the great one and only Mr. Mark Goldbridge. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks. Very good. Top of the league and back in whatever this is we're calling it. I don't know whether it's a title race or not, but certainly looking forward to it, definitely.
Who had 8 seconds for the Goldbridge top of the league chant? Who had it? 8 seconds, anybody in the Goldbridge bingo? Look, I'm not going to lie, Mark. I'd be the same. I tell you what, though, I don't know if it's just me on this one, buddy, but the level of banter between the United and Liverpool fans seems to have reached a level of non-toxicity at some point. So, and I'm rather enjoying it. It's been quite fun, this build-up.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know whether it's the world that we live in or not, but it's not hit it yet. But I do think Sunday. I mean, obviously there's no fans in the ground, but I said this on our preview on the United Stand. Klopp's a passion merchant, and I don't say that in a bad way. And he will get angry, and you know, I think on the pitch there might be a few tasty tackles, and if you lose the game, it will get toxic, because that's what should happen. Not toxic, but people will get very angry, and that's what should happen, because it should matter if your team loses or whatever. So yeah, I think at the moment, I think people are we're in shock where we are, and Liverpool fans are probably in shock that United are back on top of a league. It's just been a weird season.
I think shock's the word, Mark. I'm not going to lie to you. I remember at the start of the season thinking, will United even challenge for Champions League place? And I want to give them every credit, because you don't get to the top of the league by accident. You get to the top of the league by picking up your points. So I've one question I want to put to you. Are United top of the league because of Ollie or in spite of Ollie? And but what I mean by that is, have the players overperformed to get them there, or is it because of the manager?
I mean, I would say categorically it's because of the manager, because having coached and played and watched or whatever, it's very clear as a United fan that we have we've done this through coaching as much as we've done it through the players. But the thing that really stands out is that the Thursday night before the Everton game back in October, I think it was, the Manchester Evening News ran a story that Manchester United sources had said that they'd spoken to Pochettino to replace Ollie. We beat Everton, and since that date, we've won 9 league games and drawn 2. Something happened in that dressing room. Something happened in Solskjaer that inspired them, where the players backed the manager, and the manager did what he did. So that was it, because the 6 games before that, we'd lost 3 out of 6, and then we haven't lost 1 out of 11, and we've won 9. So it's on the manager. Any club needs the players. Brighton would be top if Potter had good players, because he's a good coach. But the manager's got to take the credit. Yeah.
A lot of the build-up to this game has been about Thiago and Fernandes, but I want to talk to you about Fred and McTominay against maybe Henderson and Thiago. I wonder is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, your manager, going to go with his tried and tested Fred and McTominay duo, or will he go with what we've seen recently, maybe a Matic-Pogba combination?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, because that's probably the biggest decision to make, and the most important decision to make amongst many, because, what will we do with formation and forwards? But I suspect he'll go McTominay and Fred, because they didn't play against Burnley, and they're more mobile and energetic. But then, are you going to put Pogba out of position, or are you going to bench Paul Pogba? So I do think he's going to go McTominay and Fred. I do think he probably should go McTominay and Fred, but I wouldn't like to have to make that decision, because if you get it wrong, it could be a game changer.
And that's even before we introduced Donny van de Beek into the equation, whom for some reason at United, and I've been following the United fan base a bit. It's odd, isn't it? I mean, is it a case that Solskjaer feels like it's not his player, he was rammed down his throat? Or is it a case of, and we've seen this at Liverpool at times, it just takes time for a player to settle and get up to speed with what the manager wants?
Happened with Fred with us, happened with Fabinho with you. I think the thing with Donny van de Beek is he won't play against you, and I'd be very surprised if he got even a minute against you, to be fair, as a sub. The thing with Donny van de Beek is it's not just a fan obsession. When he's played really well, and then he's like 6th choice midfielder. Yet he's been in Champions League semi-finals. He's won titles with Ajax. It doesn't make sense to United fans. I don't if he doesn't start against Liverpool, which he won't, all right, in an individual game, that's fine. But he should have had way more time than he's had. It is a weird one. I just hope it's about patience and working his way into the team, because I think he's a really good player. But, we're top of the league at the moment. I don't expect him to start on Sunday.
How do Manchester United win this game? Break it down for me. How do you think United come to Anfield and end the 67-game unbeaten run that we're currently on?
Well, it doesn't sound very easy, because it won't be very easy. And I think that we will have to go into this game respectful of the fact of that run, but also the fact that Liverpool are one of the best teams in Europe. And as vulnerable as some people think they are, I've seen them dominate teams this season, even though they've had the injury problems. So I would imagine Manchester United in the first 20 minutes need to be focused, organised and at it. If they're not any of those three things, then Liverpool will score an early goal. And then after 20 minutes, you need to, or maybe within that 20 minutes, you've got to be looking for the outball. You've got to be looking for Rashford, and you've got to look to, give Liverpool a bit of a thought about what might happen if they just try and bombard us, that we can actually hit them on the break. And after 20 minutes, if Liverpool aren't at it, then maybe we become a little bit more progressive. But I think the first 20 minutes is key. I think we're going to, there's not many games in a season where you can go, look, first 20 minutes, keep it cagey, keep it focused, controlled. But Anfield against Liverpool is definitely one of those games, and probably Man City at the Etihad. So I've got no problem with United being a little bit defensive and looking to counter in the first 20 minutes of this game, and take it from there, really.
I was looking at the bookies earlier on. I do like a little flutter, and they have Manchester City 8-11 to win the Premier League, Liverpool 3-1, and United as outsiders. Do you think that's right, or are they doing both of our clubs a bit of an injustice?
It's weird, because I was asked what my top four prediction was at the start of the season, and I said Liverpool, Chelsea, City, United. Now, I've definitely got it wrong with Chelsea, but I'm not convinced I've got it wrong with Liverpool being favourites, but a lot of people have said Man City are favourites before a ball was kicked. I can understand it now, but people have always said Man City are favourites, and I don't really see it. I don't. I think that I think if Liverpool had all their players fit, I still think they would be the favourites, and I still think Liverpool are the favourites now. And you play them at the start of February, so I don't know. I still think Liverpool are favourites personally.
We're both, I would guess, similar ages, or thereabouts, and I think the world, Mark, I'm going to make a bold statement here. I think the world needs a Liverpool and Manchester United title race. Never mind Manchester City. I mean, to me, they're just an oil-rich Wigan, and I think I've heard you say something similar before as well. I have respect for what they're capable of, but I couldn't give a shite about them in a whole another way. But to me, Mark, we're for the Premier League, where we are with COVID, where the world is right now, what a beautiful distraction it would be for the two most decorated clubs in English football to go head-to-head right until the end. And do you think it's possible, or is somebody going to drop off? Because I'd love it, man. If we have to be in a race, and I want us to walk the league, but it's not going to happen, I'd rather be with United. I'd rather that rivalry and banter throughout the season.
Well, as I've said before, it's a great rivalry. It shouldn't be a hate rivalry. I don't like Liverpool. I don't want them to win, but the rivalry is great for the reasons you've said there. The rivalry with City is just, it doesn't feel the same. We've had title races with City, I'm sure, and you've had them, and it just doesn't feel the same. The problem with a United-Liverpool title race is that if you don't win, and it is neck and neck, that is probably going to be the worst feeling ever. And if you win it, it's probably the best. But fortune favours the brave. And I would, if it's a choice between no title race or a race with Liverpool, then obviously we're going to take that. But we've just got to take every game in as it comes. I think Liverpool have the platform, the manager, and the players, even with their injury issues, to expect to be in a title race in April. I don't think United. We can't say that. We're only just at the top. There's a lot of question marks about us. We're just enjoying it and hoping that we can, keep delivering what we've done over the last few weeks.
Yeah, look, you've got to take it game by game, and it's very odd that we're sitting here now mid-January and we're not even halfway through a Premier League campaign. It just feels completely out of sync altogether. But for our point of view, there's a lot of chatter between Liverpool fans, obviously, about the centre-back situation, and we don't know who's going to be in there. But for me, I don't think we've actually been that bad at defending. I think our problem's been at the other end, and I'm more concerned about if Shaqiri gets a start or who he plays in the midfield, because I think Thiago and Henderson are going to be nailed on. And for me, I'd like to see Bobby Firmino in a central attacking midfield position, three across them with Shaqiri on the right I'd like to see Mane on the left and Salah as a lone striker. Now, I want to get your take on that as a United. What are you expecting Liverpool to set up like? Who are you expecting us to go with? And of course, the centre-back situation is still evolving because we don't know what's going on with Matip.
Well, I imagine it'll be Fabinho and Matip if they're fit. And then obviously your front three, I would imagine, would be Firmino, Mane and Salah, Robertson, Trent, Alisson in goal, Henderson, Thiago. And is Wijnaldum fit? I don't know. Would he not be playing in there?
He is fit. And, you know, if I was to go with Klopp's decision-making, it probably would be Hendo, Gini, Thiago. But maybe I'm being a bit optimistic and wanting to get on the front foot and try and put you guys under pressure. But, yeah, you're right. Gini Wijnaldum is somebody that Klopp turns to in these big games. And it wouldn't surprise me in the least. But I want to talk to you about the fullbacks as well, mate, because I'm intrigued to see if you're going to go Shaw or Telles. I'm presuming it'll be Shaw. And I'm also intrigued to ask why you think opposition teams, you guys included, will target Trent Alexander-Arnold specifically, because I've seen it happen week in and week out.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rashford's been playing off the right for us, and I would hope he plays off the left. And the simple reason for that is because this season I've seen Liverpool a few times, and Robertson's probably the standout player that I've seen consistently. He's brilliant going forward, but he's also very good defensively. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, I don't think, from what I've seen, has had the season he's had last year. And I think defensively, a lot of goals Liverpool leak do tend to come from him. There was a goal, the Southampton goal was on his side as well. So I think that, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold going forward is a major asset, but I think he's more vulnerable than Robertson is defensively. So I would rather, even though Rashford's played off the right, I would stick Rashford on the left.
Any concerns about the officials for the game? Any issues at your end with the man in the middle?
None more so than any game, really. I think any big game, you've got to be wary that a game, you know, gone in 60 seconds, Stevie G, you know, these sort of things can happen. Penalties can happen, as we've seen. I don't buy into what Klopp said last week. I just think that's normal behaviour from a manager. I'm actually quite proud of the fact that Klopp mentioned Manchester United and penalties, because I don't think he'd mentioned us last year, and it just shows where we are. You know, I sort of sympathise with Liverpool that maybe they haven't had the penalties we've had, and I understand that frustration, but I think all our penalties really have been penalties. I think the argument is probably more why Liverpool haven't had penalties that we've had, and that's nothing to do with us. I've said it before, I thought Foden last night should have had a penalty. It was soft, but I thought it was. And this sort of game might have a penalty in it because Liverpool are a good attacking side, and we do get the ball in and around the box. I don't want the game to be about that. There's many United fans who would love to beat you in the last minute with a Bruno penalty. I would rather beat you in a 4-3 game or a 3-2 game. But I would hope an official will not decide a game like this. But you don't know, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of United's games this season. I got a bit of stick off Liverpool fans because I thought Pogba's was a penalty. I thought he was fouled and I thought it was a penalty. And if it was Liverpool, I'd have been screaming for it. So I think you make a valid point. Is the question, well, are United getting too many, or is the question that the rest of the clubs just aren't getting a rub of the green for whatever reason that might be? I don't buy into this. I don't buy into these conspiracy theories that the FA and the Premier League want X and X in a title race. I don't buy into that. Yeah, there's no denying a Liverpool United title race is good for English football. It's good to put eyes on the Premier League, but I think it's gone a bit of a stretch too far. It's just, you know, we got the name Liverpool, and I'll never understand, by the way, how we got that, because it's funny. And you may have been told the same. We were told, oh, when VAR comes in, you're screwed. You're absolutely done. Comes in the league, all of a sudden, Liverpool. It's madness. But you're right. You want these games to be decided on the pitch. Now, speaking about the game on the pitch, are we in for another boring 0-0, mate? Or are United going to come and try and have a crack? I know you've said opening 20 minutes, keep it tight, but after that, how do you see the game progressing?
Well, you're right. I mean, look, it could be a boring game if we just and a point's not a bad result for us. It really isn't. You know, part of me thinks if someone offered me a point now, would I take it? And my head says probably yeah, but you know that's not the way I live it, and I want us to go there. And you know, if we get a point, fine, but we might win it, and that of course the risk is you might lose it as well. But I don't think it'll be 0-0. I don't. I think one thing without fans in the ground, I think it seems to be making games more open anyway, because you know you're not intimidated by the away crowds, etc. So I don't think it will be 0-0. I do think it could be a draw, but I don't think we'll see a 0-0.
Do you think Cavani starts for United?
If Martial's injured, you would assume he would. I like the idea of Cavani against your centre-backs if they're inexperienced, because he's very experienced. But I do wonder about how much we're going to spend in your box if we're going to be hitting you on the break. Pace might be more important. So if Martial's fit, I think there's a case not to start Cavani. But, maybe you need Cavani if you're 1-0 down and you want to go on the front foot. But I think if Martial's injured, Cavani will definitely start, yeah.
Yeah, looking at their side, I think the side picks itself almost as well. I think, Mark, this game, I think we're going to win it 2-0. That's my prediction. I'm going to go for Liverpool to win it 2. I'm going to think of a similar game to last time where I think we'll get a goal in the first half. You guys will push it. You know, the typical game. You know where I'm going with this. We'll sit back, soak it up, and then Salah on the counter-attack. Tops off. He's in the corner flag, giving it to Big and rolling around, showing off the six-pack. That's how I see the game go, mate. That's my prediction for it. From your side, how do you think it's going to pan out?
I've been quite consistent saying 1-1. I think there'll be a goal in the game. I think it will be quite tight because neither team wants to lose. And I think it's interesting for Liverpool that they will want to win it. And I think they do need to win it because obviously they need to close the gap on us, and they also need to be more wary of Manchester City behind them. But I don't think he'll go to win it gung-ho. I might be wrong because you've got to respect what United can do on the break. So I think there'll be goals in it, and I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
I've asked some of our subscribers any questions that they want to ask you, and one of them is fairly simple. You touched on it earlier on. How do you see the top 6 ending up now?
It will definitely. I think the title race, if we can stay in it, but definitely will be Liverpool, Man City, and maybe us. I don't see Leicester or Southampton hanging around. So at the top 4, I think Spurs will get 4th. I think Chelsea have got to have a renaissance and get 5th, and maybe Leicester 6th. But Chelsea got to get a bit of a move on if they want to do that. And Arsenal, I don't even know what Arsenal are doing. I think they've got some easier games at the moment. But as soon as they play someone decent again, they'll start dropping points.
Yeah, it's the Arsenal way. It's what they do. Looking ahead to the rest of the season as well, is anybody going to sign a centre-back in this window? By the way, we all need one. No, but I'd seen Socrates linked to us last night. Came broke midstream, and I nearly spat my drink out, mate. I mean, just no, forever no. Anything at your end?
That's probably the sort of deal anybody, us or you, will do if we're going to get a centre-back. It won't be the centre-back that we want. Apparently there's going to be stuff happening in the last 2 weeks, and I'm sure there will be, but whether it involves Manchester United and a centre-back, I don't know. We've only got 4, and two of them are, well, one of them is injured, Lindelof. 2 of them are injury prone, and we've only got 1 right back as well, really. So we should be buying somebody, but I've got a funny feeling we won't, which is really frustrating because it's the first time we've been top of the league for bloody 7 years, and buying somebody in that position could be the difference between winning and not. But I suppose it's probably the same for yourselves, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've no hope of a centre-back in this window, to be honest with you. And look, I can't rewrite history. I thought when we didn't replace Dejan Lovren in the summer, I thought to myself, I can understand Klopp rolling that dice. We got Thiago, we got Diogo Jota, money was tight. But my God, I didn't see Van Dijk and Gomez being out for the entire season. That has really thrown a spanner in the works. But I still say, I don't think we're defending too badly. I just don't think we're performing at the other end of the pitch. I just don't think we're not allowed to criticise the front 3. I don't know how it is at your side if someone criticises Martial or Rashford, but heaven forbid one of us was to say a bad word about Salah, Mane, or Firmino. I mean, the avalanche comes in. I'm somebody that doesn't care about that, mate. Like yourself, I call things as I see them. And if I see somebody not performing, I'm going to speak about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, Rashford gets a lot of criticism. Martial is getting a lot of criticism at the moment. Cavani doesn't because he's like a shiny new toy. But no, I do think that Liverpool have done well defensively. Because if you look at Man City last year with, Fernandinho there, they were shipping goals all over the place. And, you do concede a lot of goals when you're not playing your centre-backs. It's a specialist position. So, I mean, I know Liverpool probably would be in a better position if they had Van Dijk, but I actually think defensively, the players it's more about the players you've had to move to play well there, like Fabinho. That's probably where it's cost you, because I think defensively, it's not like you're shipping loads of goals, like you say. You just, the team has suffered, but, the lads that have stepped in at centre-back haven't done a bad job, really.
Before I let you go, 2 quick things. Firstly, I want to touch on Marcus Rashford for a second. I want to touch on his non-footballing work, because from all of us on our side, I just want to put it on record. What a job that young man is doing, fighting for hungry kids. It's a shame that he has to do it. It's a shame that it's not my place to speak about the British government, but it's a shame to see that he's having to. And when I seen that picture, mate, of 3 days worth of food, my jaw hit the floor. I did not realise quite how bad it was. So from our side, massive hats off to Marcus Rashford for that work, mate. It's tremendous.
It is, and I think that's just an indication of the work that he's doing. That a player can get such great praise from Liverpool fans, and that just shows you what a good job he is, because it's hard to get that across football. So what he's done is amazing, and not many footballers have good reputations, and a lot of footballers are very up their own arse, and I think Marcus Rashford has shown a massive amount of work to do that. And I saw a headline today about impacting his performance. I mean, Marcus Rashford's an inconsistent footballer. He's a brilliant footballer, but sometimes he's always been like that. Sometimes he's not on it, and sometimes he is. But this season he wasn't on it against Wolves. He scored a goal. He wasn't on it against Burnley, and he set up the goal for Pogba. So we're very happy with. Well, I say we are. Most Man United fans are very, very proud of what he's done off the pitch. In fact, I think all are. And on the pitch, I think most are very happy with what he's doing on the pitch as well.
And to finish up, mate, I said I had some listeners' questions for you. One that, and I want to know the answer to this as well, because I want some advice on it. Trolling, mate. How do you deal with it? You're almost at 1 million subscribers now. Well, I think last count 45k away, something like that, which is amazing. And congratulations on that. But look, I'm a bit hot-headed, so at times I like to let my feelings be known. But when it gets to your level, I've seen some of the lies and blatant, downright sick stuff that's been posted about yourself. I know the truth because I know you a bit behind the scenes. We've gotten to know each other a little bit. I know what type of a fella you really are. But how do you deal with it, man? I honestly don't know. It does my head in just reading it.
I think at the moment it's a very difficult world to live in. We're all cooped up, a lot of us, stuck inside. And I think people who are unhappy are a lot more unhappy. And I think that, I've seen it the last couple of days. We're top of the league and people are attacking people. And obviously I'm always going to be somebody that certain United fans attack. There's not a lot I can do about it, really. I certainly don't want to waste my time getting involved in arguments on social media because you can't win either side. And there are people who just want to believe lies, really. And that's what it is. People want to believe lies, and they will believe it because they don't like what you do. So it justifies their irrational dislike for what you do to jump on something and go, yeah, that must be true. I mean, I've had it about the Forest fan thing. I've had it about, previous jobs and all sorts of stuff. And, being a paid actor and stuff like this. It would be funny if it wasn't so sad that these people are driven by believing it and do believe it because they're so locked up in their own unhappiness. And it's sad. I feel for them because actually I've always been somebody that will quite happily speak to people about it if they've got an issue. And, I speak to a lot of people who don't like fan cams outside the ground. And I'm like, you know what, to be honest with you, I probably don't like them either. I'm not so sure that they do represent fans in the right way because you will get people who use it as an opportunity to go viral. But 90% of people actually are very good and they're just having their say about the game. But, I'm more than happy to have those conversations. But they don't want to do that. They just want to see the world burn, really. So, I feel sad for them, but I think it's just probably a lot of it is to do with people being very unhappy in their lives at the moment, which I think a lot of people are.
I think it's very well put. It's often just people projecting their own insecurities or their own hate or their own... I mean, if anybody is watching this, what I would say is if you don't like something, don't watch it. I mean, it often makes me, in the comments especially, like they take the time to comment rather than just move on. They're just, as you said, they're fueling their own anger. I just don't get it. I just wish people would calm down. And as I said, the very start of this stream, I said to you, Mark, I found this build up to this derby, and I do call it a derby, a little bit different. It's been a bit more lighthearted. It's been a bit more fun. And I think I always use a phrase that you brought up before, rivals, not enemies. I think that is the perfect way to describe it. And I hope, mate, that whatever happens come 6:30 when we're back top of the table on Sunday, that you guys are all right on your side and that we can keep it civil because I think that's what's needed. But look, I know how busy you are, Mark. Always appreciate you taking time to come on and have a chat with little old us here on Anfield Agenda. I wish you the best for the season on your channel. As always, mate, I wish you nothing on the pitch and, enjoy Europa League because I think that'll be where you come unstuck, buddy. I meant to bring that up earlier. I think that's when Thursday, Sunday comes. I think you might come unstuck because I don't know why. I've still been unable to figure out the psychological reason why Wednesday, Saturday sound, but Thursday, Sunday seems to just cause mayhem.
No, so you're right, because it can be Tuesday, Sunday in the Champions League. It can be Wednesday, Sunday, but it's always Thursday, Sunday in the Europa League. So you're right. I mean, if we're still in a title race, then I'll be more than happy to deal with that issue. And I think we would need to have two separate teams. But look, at the end of the day, if we lose to Liverpool on Sunday, it won't be very nice, but we will have the same points as you. If you lose to us, we'll be 6 points ahead. So, it'll be very interesting if one of us lose, is what I'm saying, which is why I think it might be a draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate Mark giving up his time as always to come on and have a chat with us. Please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always, Mark, thank you for taking the time, buddy. Best of luck hitting that 1 million. I'm as excited as you are. Honestly, I'm sitting back every day looking at it going, because it's an unbelievable achievement for a football channel, mate. It is.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I might jack it all in before then, but let Flex take the glory. But no, seriously. I mean, look, we're just the same as everybody else. We just go live and people watch it if they want to watch it. I think that some people think we've all got mystical powers that we can influence people's opinion because we've got a fan channel. But every fan channel started off with no one watching. Now people watch it. I mean, does that not indicate that people enjoy watching it? I don't think it's a brainwashing exercise at all. Just, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, buddy. You've paved the way for the rest of us, and we appreciate it. As always, Mark, it's been a pleasure, buddy, and I doubt we'll catch up soon.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much for having me on.